Hi, welcome to part two of what is a SSAS pension and how business owners can use them. If you've not seen part one, please go back if you don't know the fundamentals of a SSAS and check out part one. It's on our YouTube channel and our website as well. My name's Ian Welsh. Who am I? I'm Director of ICW Property Group. I host SSAS Northwest Network Group. Individuals looking into SSAS already have SSAS. We run network meetings in Manchester. I'm an independent business and SSAS consultant. I help businesses and SSAS trustees move forward with their SSASs or get up and running with their SSASs. Just a disclaimer, this is not financial advice. All I'm going to do in this video is just give some brief examples, and they are examples. Figures are not, exact. They're just to give you a flavour of what's possible with a SSAS once it's up and running. So, how can a SSAS help my business? Well, let's take an example SSAS connected to a property company. These are property-based examples. So Smith's Property has a SSAS total of 400k. It's got 4 members. They all have different pot sizes, but the total scheme value comes to 400,000. So one of the traditional ways you can use a SSAS is to buy your business premises and rent it from your SSAS to your company. So if you're renting business premises at the moment, that rent is going to a landlord and disappearing out of your control. Whereas if a SSAS purchased business premises, you could then rent your business premises from the SSAS to your company. The company pays rent at market value and it pays it into your SSAS. That's storing up funds for your retirement. It's not gone out of your control. So a SSAS can own and rent out commercial property. It's a traditional way to use a SSAS. The rent is accumulated in your SSAS for retirement. And while it's accumulated in your SSAS, you can also invest it. Various different ways you can invest a SSAS. See part 1 for that. You can also loan back 50% of the rent collected to your business on a loan back scheme. So an example of buying and renting back a premises. So let's just say the purposes of this, they use the whole of the SSAS to purchase a business premises. You'd rent it at market rate, where a normal market rate is normally around 10%. Nice easy figures, things like that. So if you bought a £400,000 property using your SSAS, you'd sit it in your SSAS and you'd rent it to your company for £40,000 a year. Your company obviously would pay that to the SSAS. It's accumulated in your SSAS tax free. So in the first, 5 years income. So you have that property for 5 years. These are very round figures, very easy to work with. 5 years income, you'd have 200,000. 10, 400,000, 15, 600, 800,000 over 20 years. I've not factored in rent rises with inflation, things like that. Obviously, it should grow. Inflation is something, so your rent should grow at market rate. It shouldn't just sit stagnant. But I've used an easy example of, in 20 years, you would have been paying £800,000 out of your business to a landlord and it will have disappeared. Whereas buying a business premises, renting it from your SSAS, that 800,000, it's sat there for your retirement. And in the meantime, you would have been investing it. So you can invest your funds to grow it more. Various ways you can invest it, or you can loan 50% of it back to your company to help your company grow. So it's like a cycle. It's absolutely fantastic. Very, very powerful. Example of a 50% loan back to the sponsoring company. We're going to use an example of a property. So again, 400k in the SSAS. You can loan 200k. You set your own interest rate. The minimum it's allowed to be is 1% over base rate. So this is 2023. Rates are quite high or reasonably high at the moment. So running probably around 6.5%, something like that. You need to have a first charge security over an asset to the value of the loan plus the interest on the loan. We'll go through an example in a minute. But you need to have security in place so you can use that if there's an issue with the loan, it can be called in by the administrator. It can be loaned up to a maximum of 5 years, but you must pay the loan down equally over those 5 years. So super easy figures, 100k loan is going to be 20k a year. There's interest to consider in that, and that's what we'll go through now. So example, say you had a property, you wanted to buy a property and it had a RICS valuation of 200,000. You can loan up to a maximum security value of 200,000. That means at 6.5% you could loan £187,000 from your SSAS, because at 6.5% the total loan value in the first year would be 199,155. So that 199,155 is just a shade lower than 200,000. It cannot exceed 200,000. So that's what I mean by it's the value of the loan including the interest within the first year. So if it should pay down, so your first payment's going to be just shy of £40,000 in the end of first year, and that will reduce your loan value, so it will never go over the security value. In year 2, again 42, 45, 48 and 51. So what you've done there is you've paid into your pension, not a bank or any other finance company, you've paid nearly £40,000 over 5 years into your pension, and you've paid it from your company, so you're keeping control of your money. A lot of people call it being your own bank, and it's really, really powerful. So let's use a real world example. You can purchase property. I don't want to do a 5-year project, I want to do a 3-year project. So I'm going to purchase a property for 200,000. You do need, this is not your SSAS is going to pay for everything. You need working capital within your business. I'm not a believer of these deals. Oh, it's a no money down deal and things like that. No, you've always got to have money involved. You've got to have working capital. You can argue that until the days come home, but the cows come home. But you need working capital. So you can purchase a property within your SSAS using a loan, not within the SSAS, within the company using a loan back. You need the funds to refurbish, develop or convert the property. So let's say you then developed it and your development cost totaled with the purchase 300,000, but you've added value. So the GDV should have gone, for example, to 400,000. You've got a pre-tax profit of £100,000 sat there. You're going to pay the loan back of 200,000 or 187,000. You're going to pay your SSAS 25 grand's worth of interest over 3 years. You're going to make a pre-tax profit in the company of just shy of 75,000. Not amazing figures, but it gives you an example. It gives you a taster of what's possible. If you could turn that into a year, that's really powerful. You're also in control of it. One of the big things is residential property is not allowed to be owned by a SSAS, but some SSAS trustees will allow the use of a loan back and be secured on residential property. So in the past, in the current, you could go and buy at auction. You could buy a property at auction, pay for it using a loan back. You do the work and then sell it on, and using the security of that residential property for the loan. Not every SSAS administrator will allow you to do that. Again, goes back to what we mentioned in part 1, which is you have to find a SSAS administrator that agrees and is aligned with your goals. Right, so what's SSAS helped you achieve in that example? It's turned you into a cash buyer. You've used little of your own money to actually physically purchase the asset. No need for bridging finance. You've loaned up to the full value of the security, including interest. So no problems with people that I'll loan you 60% of the actual value, 70%. No, you can go up to, including the interest, up to 100% value. Control over the loan interest. So as I say, it has to be 1% over base rate. Also the length of the loan. One thing to put in, you could put a 5-year loan. We've just taken a 5-year loan back to do a commercial property. Various reasons we're not doing it within the SSAS. But I've taken a 5-year loan back, but it has a clause in it saying I can pay it back whenever I want. So the point of refinance, it gives me super flexibility while rates are quite high. As soon as they come down, I can pay it back whenever I want. Also, in that example, you grew your business and your pension, and that's the name of the game. That's what you want to achieve. So, commercial property. People want to buy a commercial property and convert it to residential. You can buy a commercial property and hold it within the SSAS. It's allowed to do that as long as it's not residential, doesn't have residential elements. So the SSAS will then pay for the conversion up to the point it is deemed residential. At that point, you need to sell to your development company, and it must be at market rate. The development company will finish the conversion, sell it, refinance it, pay back the SSAS, whatever it does. So you could buy and convert a commercial property within a SSAS. In the example, we'll use the 400,000. You're not limited by the 50% loan back rules because you're buying it within the SSAS, so you can use the full fund. In this example, we're going to buy a commercial property for 250,000. We're going to convert it to apartments for 150,000. Yeah, these are figures that I've just made up, examples just to give you a flavour. So the project cost, when you move it from the SSAS before it officially becomes residential, the cost will be 400,000. But when it's sold from the SSAS, you've added value. So it might be 500,000 RICS valuation. So you've made £100,000 within the SSAS, and the final GDV might be 550,000. So what you've done there is you've created tax-free profit into the SSAS of 100,000 and a pre-tax profit of 50,000 within your company. Just gives you a flavour of what's possible in that. Another thing you could do, you could buy land and gain planning permission using your SSAS. So you can't land bank, we covered this in part 1, but you can buy land, submit plans, develop the land however it's used. So example again, 400,000, you can purchase some land, 180,000, planning costs 20,000, total 200,000, but you've obviously increased the value of the land with your planning. So let's say in this example you sell it for 300,000, you've created a pre-tax profit in your, a tax-free profit in your SSAS of 100,000. You could develop the land, go on and develop it, but you can't hold residential. So as per the previous slide, it must be planned and everything must be sold at market rates. So it takes a lot of planning to get the gain and then start developing the land. All profits to the point it exits your SSAS are tax-free, but you need working capital and you need to know how you're going to finance that when you move it. I hope that gives some examples, not the tidiest video, but great examples of how you can use a SSAS to grow your business with loan backs, commercial property, various different things. As I say, we run a SSAS Pensions Think Into Running program. If you scan the QR code, that'll take you to the web page. Just an easy program to get you up and running and using a SSAS and all the ins and outs. Also, you can link with me on LinkedIn and you can scan to join SSAS Northwest Facebook group, and hopefully we'll see you at one of our meetings. Hopefully that's been of interest. Thank you very much for watching.